Hello there. So, here again to make another video. And I'm not quite sure how to start it. Found some interesting information online today, and as far as I can tell, it's verifiable and real. So, I'm going to read some of it to you. And so please bear with me. This might be a little bit longer of a video than I normally create, but as I was browsing YouTube, as I usually do in the mornings, I came across a release of a document out of Evergreen State College called the Antifa Manual. That's right, the Antifa Manual. Normally I try and be a little more lighthearted in my videos, but after reading some of this, you'll see clearly why none of this is any laughing matter. And the sad fact of the matter is that it's especially no laughing matter if you're a white, straight man in the United States. This is going to, well, let's just get into some of it, shall we? All right. So now, on the cover of this manual, the Antifa Manual, there's an instruction. It says, do not distribute to any cis white males, non-POC, non-LGBTQ peoples, aka fascists. That's right. If you're a cis white male, you're automatically a fascist. Automatically, by default. Okay? So, this is going to get disturbing. Just want you to know that up front. This shit is disturbing. Let's go ahead and continue with the introduction. If you are reading this, it's because someone close to our movement trusted you with it. Please do not distribute to anyone who may attempt to harm or denigrate what we are doing. This is an anti-fascist or Antifa manual. If you are reading this, you already know that we are a social justice movement against hatred, intolerance, and bigotry. Yes, as evidenced by all the violence that happens when Antifa shows up to rallies, right? We can see that. All right. And I do apologize, folks. It is a little warm in here because I've got the door open for lighting effects, and I do actually need these for reading. So, I apologize for the goofy look. Okay. This manual outlines where we've been, where we're at, and where we're headed within the next 100 years. But first, to understand how we got here, we have to understand white privilege. For hundreds, if not thousands of years. Now this is where it gets dicey, because if you're a thinking person, you're going to see these claims as ludicrous, but you have to understand that these people are being serious. They are being dead on serious. They are not joking with this. This is not an onion piece. So keep that in mind as you hear some of these claims. Now, I'm not going to go through the entire document because it's pretty long, but I'm just going to read you the introduction and then some of the contents of the first couple of pages for you to get an idea, and then I am going to put a link in the description so that you can go read it for yourself. It's on Imager.com. Okay, so for hundreds, if not thousands of years, the cis-white male power structure controlled the media and disbursement of information. First came the printing press, controlled by white males. Then came mass media, such as newspapers and television, controlled by white males. And they put those in parentheticals. But the next evolution of media was born in a time when the cis-white male power structure began to lose its firm grip on the dissemination of ideas. Some of our kind have begun to infiltrate high-level positions of power in major media organizations. Some of whose kind? Some of our kind. Okay, and yet Antifa are the ones, Antifa and the left are screaming about identity politics, white nationalism. I'd say that reveals, in my opinion, a sense of groupthink, outright tribalism. Okay? Exactly what Antifa accuses the right of being. And of course, the new king of idea dissemination is social media. This is the new battleground for our war against fascism. It goes on. Whites, especially cis white males, in case you're not aware, cis basically connotates the idea that you are heterosexual, that you value traditional values, family values, that you may be religious, that you believe in universal truths. All of these things are included in that little three-letter word, cis, C-I-S. It's a total package in which you can stuff any idea that you don't like and attribute it to a certain group. In this case, people who look like this. All right. Whites, especially cis-white males, have been proven to be the greatest evil mankind has ever known. And again, keep in mind, they are serious about this. This is not a comedy piece. From Hitler to our very own Harry S. Truman, who dropped the atom bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, to the slave traders of old, no one has proven to do more harm to mankind than white men. From their murderous plundering, i.e. of the Native Americans and African slaves, white males have achieved status and power in the United States and Western Europe. Never indulge any fantasy by the fascists that white men have also cured diseases, lifted people out of poverty through Western capitalism, democracy, or any other facetious claim they may make about such men. Their gains were only achieved through rape and plunder. Forget how hard you've worked. Forget the long hours that you've dedicated to developing your craft, or your trade, or your set of skills, or your business. You didn't get that through hard work. You got that through rape. Got that? So, let's go ahead and move on, if I can stomach some of this. Hence, cis-white males have inherent privilege in our society, like we all haven't heard that before, right? This is the basis of which people of color, LGBTQ, the disabled, and other groups that need protection will level the playing field and form a new world order, aka one world government. You thought that was all conspiracy, nutjob, fantasy, didn't you? Yeah, so did I, at one point. One world government. Good God. A government by protected classes of people, for protected classes of people, for the protection and betterment of all humanity. That's right. If you're a white man, forget about trying to better yourself. That is evil. It is an immoral. It's the equivalent of slave ownership. There you go. That's how ridiculous these ideas are. Okay? Now, the next section is called Creating a Culture of Tolerance. To create a culture of tolerance, we must first eliminate all forms of hate speech. That sounds like a good idea. Maybe. How are we going to do that? Every idea critical of our movement or our way of thinking must be condemned as racist, homophobic, misogynist, etc. So if anybody has the slightest amount of criticism of your ideas, that person is racist, misogynistic, homophobic, they're a Nazi. Go punch them. We have the facts and history on our side. Oh, okay, if that's not moral equivalency right there, sitting on the highest possible horse of condemnation, I don't know what is. Listen to that. We have the facts and history on our side. When all else fails, compare someone to Hitler. Yeah. Hey, if you can't argue with them, just call them a Nazi. Say you're literally Hitler. Every once in a while, one of our minority group friends will become disillusioned and speak out as a conservative, aka a fascist. Belittle them as delusional. They speak against their own rational self-interest. Well, let's forget about the question of addressing that individual's rational self-interest as if I could determine anyone else's individual rational self-interest. Our color, my blackness, for example, comes first. That's right. Not your humanity, not your values, just the color of your skin. That is all-encompassing and all-important. That is the basis from which every thought, every word, and every deed must flow. The color of your skin. It defines who I am. Black first, American second, gay, lesbian first, little person, dwarf second, American third, and so on. Okay, the next one, the next section, is called Crashing the Borders. Most liberals are not Antifa yet, but soon they will be. Refugee crises such as those created by the situation in Syria are the ideal way to get more people of color, that's POC, in case you didn't understand what POC, people of color, into America. They need our help. You see, they want to flood this country with non-whites. There are pictures of dead babies who have washed ashore onto beaches. Yeah, the most popular one of which was proven faked, as I recall. Use imagery such as this to get support for expanding the people of color / minority population in the United States. Never call an immigrant illegal, obviously. They are undocumented. It doesn't matter whether they came over here to smuggle drugs or if they were brought here by their parents at a young age. Migrants from Mexico and South America will play a crucial role in Antifa activities in the next 100 years. Yes. In fact, I believe Mara Salvatrucha from El Salvador, MS-13, is very much on your side, Antifa. They are a powerful drug cartel. You know how they murder people? They drop them in vats of acid. They feed them to pigs. They torture them. This is the kind of scum that you crave association with because you hate the straight white man so vehemently. Unbelievable. Control the media. That's the next agenda. Control the media. And if you control the media, you control people's opinions. If you control people's opinions, you get to control how they think. If you get to control how they think, you control what they say before they ever even say it. It is important to gain control of the media through any means necessary. Where haven't we heard that phrase before? All right. I'm not going to... I can't get into any more. You can see where this is going, clearly. Here the title of the next section is literally, Believe the Way We Do or You Will Be Fired. Listen to that again. Believe the way we do or you will be fired. It goes on. It is an absolutely horrendous agenda. If you're a white guy in the United States, if you've ever wanted a family, if you've ever wanted to pursue your self-interests, if you want to better yourself, that's evil. If you take pride in your accomplishments, forget about taking pride in your skin color or your nation or anything else. If you want to take pride of what you have worked to achieve, that's oppression. It's racism. You get the idea? Now, the thing is that if you had asked me 10 years ago if I believed in white pride, nationalism, let alone white nationalism, if you had phrased it to me that way, if you had said the words white nationalism to me, I would have been pretty offended. I would have taken offense at that. And I would have had all kinds of questions for you. What do you mean, white nationalism? What are you talking about? Patriotism, nationalism this, nationalism that, the flag, etc., etc. Any association with the right, the ideology of the right, I used to reject. Okay? Now, I didn't reject it because I was a social justice warrior. I had liberal leanings, yes. But for my entire life, my goal has been to develop and maintain a consistent worldview, consistent with what I consider to be universal truths, universal principles. And in the process of fighting to eliminate the contradictions in my own head about what I believed, what I really and truly believed in here, I became an anarchist. I became a voluntarist. I became a capitalist. Wish I could have capitalized a little more on capitalism, because I could be doing a little bit better, to be honest. But hey, I'm working on it. So in short, I became an anarcho-capitalist, or an ANCAP. The very, very, very few of us out there. In fact, I've never met another ANCAP in person. And I'm not very persuasive. So I fall short of being able to get people to pay attention to our philosophy. And I even hate saying our, because I'm an individualist. I'm not a collectivist. I hate tribalism. I very much believe in the autonomous individual. But I also believe in groups. I also believe in the formation of groups to achieve certain goals. And for the majority of my life, in my experience and my observation, I've been associated with the far right, with all of this crap. Nazism, white supremacy, the alt-right, whatever it is, republicanism, extreme conservatism. And no amount of arguing, no amount of explaining my position has ever managed to solve it. I am consistently identified as being aligned with some of the very ideals I despise, that I loathe. So, and so, at this point I'm coming to realize it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what I do. It doesn't matter what opinion I hold. That's going to be what I'm associated as. That's going to be what I'm identified as. Simply for being straight and white. Now, I hate racism. I hate discrimination on the basis of skin color, on the basis of ideas. I hate it because it's wrong. Yes, I do believe in universal moral principles, even though I am an anarchist. I'm not a nihilist. I'm not a nihilist. I used to be a skeptic. I'm seeing that being a skeptic is increasingly irrelevant. Skeptics of ideas don't have the ability to disseminate those ideas and use civil discourse to share and spread those ideas in 2017. The skeptic is irrelevant today. If you wanted to put it another way, you could say the time for talk is over. Now, to the left, to the Antifa, to the white males in that system, in that social movement. This is addressing you. What makes you think your own group won't turn on you? What makes you imagine that just because right now you're in with the LGBTQ crowd, that just because right now they accept you because you happen to be queer friendly, or you happen to be so strongly anti-fascist that you've managed to convince them that you're useful to them as an ally? What makes you think they won't be coming after you next because of the color of your skin? I'd really like to hear that one. I really would. Now, as I stated a minute ago, I hate fascism, just like you claim you do. But my behavior, my speech, my actions are not fascist. Yours are. You keep calling me a Nazi. You keep calling me the alt-right. You keep calling me a white supremacist. You keep putting me into that box. And now, you know what? That's where I'm going to go. That's right where I'm going. What other choice do I have? You've driven me straight into the arms of a group, the only group, frankly, out there who I can find some protection with. Because let's face it, I am one autonomous individual. I can't fight you. I can't fight all of you. I don't want to fight you. But you're attacking me. You're needling me. You're provoking me. You're deliberately provoking me and driving me right into the arms of the people you're calling your enemies. You're putting me, you're creating a desire within me to explore their ideas, to want to side with them. Do you understand that? I don't think you do. Because you wanted me there to begin with. And here's the catch, the sad catch, is that when Antifa and when your comrades figure out that there are so few people left that they can drive into the alt-right, that they can drive onto the enemy side, that they can cajole and needle and mock and ridicule into becoming the very thing that you say you are against, then they're going to turn on you. And guess what? Your entire group is going to lose. You're going to lose. Because there are far more of us on the alt-right. Yes, I still consider myself an anarchist. But you know what? I don't want you flooding this country with Somalians, with Syrian refugees, because of the ideologies that they bring with them. We've been trying to tell you that for God knows how long, and you just won't listen. Those people are going to turn on you too. You've invited degeneracy, filth, into this country, into our culture, into our society. It's pervasive. And you shove it down our throats because you know it repulses good people. You imagine yourselves as good and righteous and moral for doing this to us. But you're not. You're not at all. You say you're on the right side of history. You know what? Let's address that question once this is all over. And once you've lost. And once reason and common sense and values and adherence to universal truths and universal principles is restored. Let's address that question then and see if indeed you were on the right side of history.